Anne, hello. How are you?
Hi, good, Bettina.
I'm so glad to see you, and I know our residents will be so happy to hear your story and listen to our conversation and all the wonderful things we are going to share. So, just as a little introduction, my dear friends, Anne is a longtime friend of mine. We met in 2003 when I lived in Jessup, Georgia with my family, and my ex-husband was a priest at the Episcopal Church, and Anne was a parishioner. And we became fast friends. And do you still remember when we saw each other the first time?
I certainly do. You were stepping off of a train, and I was
Yes,
there to meet someone. And it was almost like I saw a sister come out. We,
yes.
we spoke. It was a great meeting.
It was wonderful. That was exactly the moment, yes. So ever since then, we have become wonderful friends and real soul sisters.
Real soul sisters. Yes.
Um, and do you, I would like the residents to know a little bit about your story. So we are in this really difficult situation right now worldwide. And the last very difficult situation the country went through was 9/11, I would say. And there was a lot of change afterwards. And so, would you just tell us a little bit about your story around 9/11, please?
Yes. I'm a retired art teacher, and in 2001, I was teaching and I was living with my mother and my husband in Jessup, Georgia. And on 9/11, my son Fred, and this is a picture of him, he was 27 years old and he was on the 104th floor of the South Tower of the World Trade Center when Flight 75 flew into the 83rd story. I knew that he was there that day, so I have never looked at it on television. And I never looked at ground zero at all until it was cleared away. And since then, I have been to the 9/11 ceremony every year through the construction and then with the introduction of the beautiful waterfall, the 9/11 Museum, and the Freedom Tower. And I can say that one of the most powerful lessons that I have learned is over the years that all that negative energy from that day, all the sadness of the families has been erased by that memorial, that it is a peaceful and beautiful place to be. And when the Freedom Tower opened, and I love the name Freedom Tower, it was the sentence, it was the period at the end of the sentence for the Twin Towers. And my faith got me through it.
Your faith got you through it?
Yes.
Yes. So, having lived through that situation, and I'm so sorry, we're all sorry for your loss. How are you coping with this situation?
There are two things that I learned from that situation. One is I only live one day at a time. I don't have to think about all the other days. I can just make today count. And that was so important in my grieving journey. And I think it's been important now. And the second lesson, and this is just for me, I do not look at the news and dwell on the news. I do get pertinent information I need. But other than that, I've turned to do what I love to do empowers me, and what I'm against weakens me. So I have used this time to try new things, to be still, and to listen and look at what's before me.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. And I know you have something wonderful to share with us. Are you ready to share it?
Yes. In grieving for my son, he always said, do what you love and love what you do. That was his motto. And so, since I'm an art teacher, that's what I've done to honor him. And we do have a foundation, a nonprofit educational foundation for my son that I turned my energy toward working on. And we have, in New York, we have a pilot program school. And these are some of the children who eliminated bullying, who worked so hard after 9/11 because on their playground in Jersey City, they saw the plane fly live into Freddie's building. And this picture is showing you children, the only people allowed to the 9/11 ceremony other than families were these children, because Mayor Bloomberg allowed them to go that day with their Freddie Frog, which is our mascot, Freddie Frog shirts, because they worked so hard to eliminate bullying. And I have a children's book. When my children were little, I have 3 children, Suzanne, Nancy, and Fred. And when they were little, I would have them sit next to me and I would tell them a story about Flossie Flutterby, the butterfly. It was my way of teaching them all the lessons that I would like to show them that they were going to be faced with. And so when my son was 22 years old, he was just out of graduate school. And I was teaching art in Georgia. Freddie said, Mom, you have to paint the paintings and you have to write the story down. And so for the next 4 years, I worked on paintings. I have 21 paintings and I wrote the story down. Then I made a great book and I gave a book to each child and that was the end of it. But when Freddie died on 9/11, I focused my energy on getting this book published to honor Fred. And I changed the title from Flossie Flutterby to Freddie and Flossie Flutterby. And Bettina has asked me if I will read that story to you and I will show you the paintings. Also, when I did the paintings and wrote the story down, I wrote songs. And I'm going to sing those songs for you too.
Wonderful.
Wonderful.
And this is Flossie Flutterby. And Flossie takes love to children around the world. This is Better Place. The map of Better Place tells you the food groups that are healthy. We have Cranberry Lake, and also there is Junk Food Junction, and you'll hear more about that in the story. One bright sunny morning, Sue, Nan, and their brother Freddie were playing down by the creek. They were looking at the fish and the bugs and the birds when a beautiful butterfly flew into view. Hi, she said, I'm Flossie Flutterby. Flossie flew toward Freddie and hovered lightly in the air above him. Freddie, do you remember when that caterpillar you found in the woods? Tommy and Jamie wanted to chop it up and you said no. Remember how you took it to school for show and tell? And then during recess, you tiptoed back into school and got the caterpillar and turned it loose. Yeah, I remember. Well, I was that caterpillar, Flossie exclaimed. I turned into a butterfly. Freddie, you saved my life. Freddie grinned. His blue-green eyes grew round like crystal marbles. When the Flossie turned to Sue and Nan and asked, "Would you like to go on a trip with me?" "Run, ask your mother. Tell her we'll be home before supper." Sue ran to the house to ask and returned with their mother's permission. The children suddenly found themselves lifted into the air on a puffy, fluffy white cloud directed by Flossie. "We're going to Better Place," she announced. "It's called that because it truly is a better place. Everyone there is treated equal and with kindness for everyone who lives there." When the cloud landed, Sue, Nan, and Freddie were astonished to see broccoli trees, lima bean rocks, and cauliflower bushes. They were even more astonished with the people who greeted them. They appeared to be walking, talking fruits and vegetables. "The fruit and vegetable people aren't really plants," explained Flossie. "They're people who have given their lives to growing fruit and vegetables and sending them to hungry children around the world. Each one represents a plant that he or she has worked so hard for, but they have real hearts and minds and feelings just like other people. It's magic." Flossie swooped and spun happily. When your heart is filled with love, anything is possible. That's why I can talk. This is the fruit and vegetable song. Hinky dink, hinky dink, hinky dink. Who says squash and spinach stink? Hinky dink, hinky dink, hinky doo. I love lettuce and carrots too. Bread, oranges, pears and tomatoes. Rice, cereal, pasta and potatoes. Celery, chicken, bread and meat. These are all foods that we eat. Hinky dink, hinky dink, hinky dink. Water is so good to drink. Hinky dink, hinky dink, hinky doo. I love good food. I love you. Nan and Sue made friends with Katie Carrot and Les Lettuce immediately, but Freddie sulked. "I hate to eat vegetables," he whined when Nan invited him to join their basketball game. "So I'm sure not playing with any vegetables." He sat on the ground and ate candy from his pocket instead. After playing basketball, Sue, Nan, Katie Carrot, and Les Lettuce planned a picnic. They went inside the Better Place building to shop for the things they would need. But Freddie stayed outside to watch a couple of vegetable people paint a mural on the building's wall. He noticed that Flossie was included in the picture and asked why. The vegetable people explained that Flossie appears to children around the world and brings them love. "So we put her in every picture we paint," they added with pride. Freddie remembered how the glitter on Flossie's wings sparkled in the light. He believed what they said about Flossie. "Flossie is like a diamond in the sun," he thought. On the grassy hill next to Milky Way Lane, Sue, Nan, Katie Carrot, and Les Lettuce spread out a beautiful blue blanket and unloaded a basket full of food. It was from all the best places in Better Place: Veg Avenue, Fruity Loop, Milkway Lane, Neat Street, Grain Lane, and Treat Street. When the girls set about enjoying their feast, Freddie wandered away. He wasn't hungry. He'd been munching candy all morning. At the bottom of the hill, Freddie met a boy wearing a t-shirt with JJ printed on it. It stands for Junk Food Junkie, the boy explained. Come on with me, he urged Freddie, and let me show you Junk Food Junction, where I live. It's a place where you don't do homework, you don't do chores, we don't brush our teeth. We stay up late and we never eat vegetables. Ooh, that sounded fantastic to Freddie. So he and the JJ jumped on the Junk Food Junction Express. He didn't even tell his sisters. And this is the Junk Food Junction song. Well, I don't want to do my homework. Boom, boom, boom. And I don't want to go to bed on time. Boom, boom, boom. And I ain't gonna do my chores. Yeah, 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 yeah. And I ain't gonna brush my teeth tonight. Yeah, 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 yeah. And I'm going out and pick a fight. Ha, 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 ha. Because we do what we want when we want, and we say what we want when we want, and we do anything that we want to do when we want. Ha!
Great.
But Freddie hadn't been in Junk Food Junction long before he discovered it wasn't such a wonderful place after all. Junk food junkies circled around to tease and frighten him. The children were mean, and they solved problems by fighting. They taunted other children who were different, and they called them names, and they laughed when anyone fell down. It was also a dirty place with litter everywhere and bugs in the food and the stale smell in the air that stuck in your nose. Miserable and lonely, Fred knew he'd made a mistake. I've got to get back to Better Place for a picnic with my sisters, he said, blinking back his tears. They don't even know where I am. But the junk food junkies just hooted. Go back where you came from, one of them shouted. You never will. Yesterday, said another junk food junkie. A kid named Derek ran away, and when we find him, pow! But right now, I dare you to ride Derek's bike down Bugaboo Hill. Back at Better Place, Katie Carrot, Les Lettuce, and Nan were looking everywhere for Freddie. He wasn't on Veg Avenue. He wasn't on Fruity Loop, Milkway Lane, Neat Street, or Grain Lane. Their hearts were broken. Without their brother Freddie, nothing would be the same. I'm listening for you. I'm longing for you. There's a space next to me where you used to be. So I'll blow you a kiss and I'll pray that I see you again. Then the world is sleepy and still. I will dream how I love you, and I always will. And someday I know you will be free, and someday I know you'll come to me. You're whispering my name. Someday, someday. Then they remembered Treat Street. Surely Freddie would be there trying to find something sweet to eat, but no one on Treat Street had seen Freddie. Sue and Nan began to cry. Freddie was lost. How could they ever go home without their precious brother? Meanwhile, Freddie's head throbbed and his knees ached from the spill that he'd taken down on Bugaboo Hill. The junk food junkies dragged him back to the clubhouse and dropped him in a chair where he curled up and fell asleep. He dreamed he was back in Better Place with Nan and Sue. When he woke up, Freddie saw that no one was watching him, so he crept around behind the clubhouse. Then he ran down to the train tracks. On the way through the deep, dark junk food junction forest, he came upon Derek, alone and crying. "Oh, Freddie, you're here too. Isn't it terrible?" he wailed. "I miss my mama and my clean white shirt and my favorite friends, and I hate it down here." "It is horrible down here," said Freddie. Suddenly, Flossie appeared before their tear-filled eyes. Both Freddie and Derek hung their heads in shame. "Flossie," said Freddie, "we are so sorry we ran away. We miss our mama and our daddy, and the kids here say we can't go home." But Flossie smiled. "Of course you can go home, and when you get there, your parents will give you a big hug, because forgiveness is free. It doesn't cost a dime. You can have it anytime, as long as it comes from the heart." Just then, the train appeared, the Better Place special, and slowed to a stop. The two boys jumped on, clickety-clack, clickety-clack. They went back. They escaped the junk food junkie attack. Freddie and Derek stepped off the train and into the warm sunshine of Better Place. Freddie thought he could hear the wind whispering his favorite song when his sisters ran up, and his heart was filled with happiness at seeing the people that he loved the best in the whole world. Even the vegetable people were beautiful. When he looked into Colonel Corncob's eyes, he saw a heart of gold. Now Derek and Freddie joined Sue and Nan in their special new happiness, the happiness of discovering new friends in new places. But it was late in the day, and they climbed back up on the cloud to go home. And just as they were leaving, a junk food junkie came running up and tried to jump on, but he fell straight through. He got off and ran off again. As the cloud carried Freddie, Sue, and Nan and Derek away, the fruit and vegetable people waved, and they called out from below, "Come back to see us. We love you." Back home that night at supper, Dad was surprised. "Freddie, you're eating your vegetables." Freddie squirmed in his chair, remembering how well the fruit and vegetable people had treated him and his sisters. Well, he said, "These green beans aren't so bad." Dad beamed with pride. "You're all growing up so fast." Just then, Flossie fluttered by the window. Sue, Nan, and Freddie all saw her there, but when Dad turned to see what they were smiling at, all they saw was gold and silver glitter gently settling to earth. And I have one more song, and it's Flossie's song, and I'll sing it for you. Yesterday is history. Today is all I'm dreaming of. Tomorrow is a mystery. So today I'm clearing room for love. And I'm throwing away my hurts and sorrows and letting go my broken dreams. And I'm forgetting lies and hurts. It's not so hard as it seems. For I believe in miracles. With love, the world's a better place. And I can see the love you're giving me. I see it written on your face. With love, the world's a better place. And I don't have to be perfect. My best is what I'll try to do. And I believe you'll pass my way. And I will give my love to you. I love you, Freddie.
I love you, and that was beautiful. Thank you
This is
so
the-
much. And what a
Thank you.
mess.
Thank you for keeping Freddie's spirit alive. And I want to thank each and every one of you who are listening for giving me your attention, because I feel like spending a day with Freddie that you kept his spirit and you kept him in our hearts forever. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. And you know, the message of your book is so appropriate right now. Living one day at a time, that's all we can do, one moment at a time. Knowing that, you know, we're all taken care of by love, by God, by whatever we want to call this higher power that's holding and loving us all. So, Anne, if now, thank you so much. It was beautiful. Thanks for singing and thank you for reading. If you would like to give our residents a message, what would that be?
The message would be, we're all connected. Our hearts are all connected. And today, look at the abundance around us and celebrate this day.
We certainly will celebrate every day, be safe, and there's no other time that we knew how connected we all are. And I thank you for connecting with me from your home in Jessup, Georgia, coming to us and singing and reading this beautiful story. And thank you so much. And I will talk to you very soon. And I appreciate your time. Thank you.